Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and billionaire Ken Langone just wrecks Elizabeth Warren on basic economics, and boy, she was not happy about it. Let's dive in.
Enough for us to pay for all those roads and bridges and bring them into the 21st century at the top of the line. We could pay for all of that if we just ask those at the top, pay a little bit more.
Senator, that would take that's a philosophically different approach than taxing income, though, because it's the wealth that people have. The wealth that people have, they've already paid taxes on it as income, and then
whoa,
they have.
Time out. Jeff Bezos has not paid taxes on the wealth that he has.
You want to do it every year? You'd have to. Illiquid assets, you'd have to value to charge the wealth tax on it. That's not feasible. These are things that probably aren't going to be practically doable, and philosophically, it's probably not what our forefathers intended in terms of the taxation system. Ken Langone might want it. Ken, what do you think of a wealth tax or cut
a wealth tax is negative compound interest. That's what it is. You're right. I made all the money. I paid the government what I owed them. What I had left, I put at risk. I could have lost it all. But I paid my share. I have a bigger issue for the senator that I think I would hope she would address that to me is apple pie and motherhood. Senator.
Could we talk about the wealth tax just for a minute before we change subjects here?
Senator, I have an easy one for you, and you're going to be shocked that I'm bringing it up from a fat cat Wall Street guy. How do you rationalize giving me $3,000 a month check every month with all my wealth? Why don't you people have the courage to address entitlements as to what should no longer be an entitlement? I shouldn't get Social Security. Second thing, I pay a minimum alternative tax. I pay a tax no matter what my deductions. I owe the government so much money. Why don't corporations have a minimum tax? Third, what about the carried interest? Why not address that? These are home runs in terms of right versus wrong, in my opinion. I'll give you one example. This is shocking. Take all the corporate taxes paid in America last year as told by the government, what they got in. Home Depot paid 1% of all those taxes. One company that didn't exist 42 years ago. We take good care of our associates. Our vendors love dealing with us. It's profitable. We give back to our community, and by the way, our shareholders have compounded at 27% a year from the day we went public 40 years ago. Everybody has done well, and we've paid full taxes. Why don't you address these? These are slam dunks, Senator. Tell me why I should get a check, and my wife gets another $1,000 on top of that. Take it away from me. Have the courage to do it. I know it's the third rail of politics, but do it.
So let's start with the wealth tax. That's where we were.
You don't want to address the issue. You don't want to address the issue of how I'm getting $4,000 a month from the government and I shouldn't be getting it?
Can I answer some of these questions?
Sure, please.
All right, thank you. So I'll start with the first one, and that was the question about the wealth tax. Remember, let's look at someone like Jeff Bezos, who is worth $1 bazillion. He has not paid taxes on all of that wealth. Don't describe it that way. In fact, Jeff Bezos, many years, has either paid nothing in taxes or has paid about 1%. Why? Because his income is very, very small. But he continues to grow his wealth through all of his Amazon stock. And how does he then fund a lifestyle like he does? Not by cashing in Amazon stock, but by borrowing against it. Right now, we have a tax system, because it focuses principally on wealth, that actually doesn't capture the folks at the very top. It makes middle-class folks pay, it makes working-class folks pay, but it doesn't make those at the top pay. A wealth tax is an opportunity to say, if you're at the very, very top, you have to make a contribution too.
Senator, I have a question. Isn't it a contract that were made with the American people about our income taxes? By the way, I've gotten so much more money out of Social Security. I'm going to be 86. I beat the charts. I've gotten so much. I've gotten more than my share. We all know one thing. We all know one thing. Times change. Times change. My government told me, you pay your taxes, and what's left is yours to do what you want with. You're telling me you want to change it now. You're saying, oh, by the way, we did get your money out of your earnings, but now we want more out of your assets.
A wealth tax would be absolutely destructive to the entirety of the American economy. In other words, what they're really trying to propose, and of course, the Democrats are so dumb that they would actually propose this as a legitimate idea. They would tax the value of your wealth at the end of every single year to extract more money from you. In other words, if you are earning money through stocks, they are going to say, well, you know how if you sell those stocks, you pay a tax then? We're going to take the tax now and then, add more to the bill later when you actually do sell. That isn't just stupid. It is evil and will wipe out the savings of the vast majority of Americans. But I could forgive the ignorance. I could forgive stupidity if Elizabeth Warren didn't know better. You want to know how I know she knows better? She switches from her normal voice and then goes into her teacher voice, where she is speaking to you like a child and we're still in elementary school. Hey, y'all. We all saw what Big Pharma did in 2020. Whether you are proactive about your health or you just want to feel your best, you need to check out the wellness company's 3-in-1 Ultimate Spike Detox. Crafted with 100% natural ingredients, it is specifically designed to help your body clear harmful spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and produce better heart health. Don't wait until symptoms strike. Experience the only formula used and approved by Dr. McCullough, a freedom-fighting doctor who risked it all. Support your immune system and overall health by going to twc.health/brawl and use promo code BRAWL for 10% off plus free shipping. Elizabeth Warren knows better. She is smart enough to know better, but because the members of her party, because the members that vote in primaries, because the people that think they're smarter than everyone, that they just need to be taught how to live, and if we could all just get along. This is nonsensical garbage that is destroying us. You want to know how we get people like Mandami? It's because entire generations of imbeciles thinking that they are actually intelligent and couldn't pass a Dunning-Kruger test keep on getting into positions of power, all because the very same people that think that, oh, Elizabeth Warren is actually very smart, they aren't educated to actually think for themselves in any way, shape, or form. They are inherently uncurious people. And then you think that we have a smart alternative in the Republican Party. No, we really don't. The GOP has pretty much had one idea that cuts through everything since the 1994 Republican Revolution with Newt Gingrich. It's tax cuts. That's it. That's the smartest policy we can give you, tax cuts. Instead, I need to bring another piece of this pie that's not even in this video. The relationship between the billionaire here, let's see, what's his name again? Home Depot co-founder Ken Langone. And ultimately, this dude had a huge beef with Donald Trump. And you'd think that'd be a problem until he actually came around on the tariffs. He used to be a big anti-tariff guy, and now he realizes, oh, this is a good thing. They have since buried the hatchet very recently and come to agree that actually these tariffs are kind of working. Trump's Liberation Day tariffs, first announced on April 2nd and later revised with multiple deadline extinctions, have generated $152 billion through July, about double the $78 billion collected in the same period last fiscal year, according to the New York Times, which cited the Treasury Department. This whole article quite literally started off with Langone essentially admitting that he was wrong on a major tariff issue. So, in other words, we had the Democrats who keep on proposing incredibly stupid, dangerous economic positions. And then they're defended by people like Elizabeth Warren. Again, she knows better, and she does it anyways. That, in my opinion, is a kind of evil. All right? Then you have the Republican Party that's, oh, well, look, it's just tax cuts. We shouldn't level the playing field. We shouldn't give Americans a fair deal. We really sort of reject that kind of ideal. And instead you have Donald Trump that says, no, the paradigm has shifted. And the billionaire in this video has even admitted that times have changed. We used to have a government that said, if you play by the rules, Forrest Gump, if you do exactly what we tell you to do, you are going to have a good life. All right, that was the premise of the entire movie. Well, part of it anyways. Well, guess what? The people who didn't do exactly what they were told ended up in terrible situations, whereas Forrest Gump, despite being a less than intelligent person, kept doing his duty, kept doing his job, and got a fair deal. Well, that movie came out in '94. That movie is almost older than I am. That's changed. That fundamental paradigm has changed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer in the post-World War II consensus where we're having to state where we just fought the evils of fascism, where we are now locked into Cold War. The Cold War is over. We are in a new era. And it's time for the American economy to change with it. And it's time for our taxes to properly reflect it. That's why tariffs work and not a wealth tax. A wealth tax would destroy the American economy, would wipe out the middle class, which is exactly what Democrats want. And I'll end with this, and I know I'm a broken record. I say this time and time again. Democrats love a stratified economy in two ways. All right? They love wealthy people who pay all the taxes, and they love poor people who don't really do much of the work, but ultimately live off the benefit of the rich people's taxes. They love that system because they know that system will never get broken. Because if there's a whole bunch of wealthy people subsidizing the poor people, there's going to be no conflict whatsoever. They love this idea. Whereas Republicans say, no, we like the idea of you owning your own home, you owning your own business, you being a part of a vibrant middle class. And then MAGA says, you know what? We need to create a better playing field from the economic perspective. What Elizabeth Warren is saying is destruction. Whereas this millionaire actually is trying to tell her what she already knows, but she wants the other policy because that's what Democrats deep down really, really want. And it deeply, deeply disturbs me. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.